coming up on UCF Nightly News. See how UCF students feel about conservative activist Charlie Kirk coming to campus.
Plus, a new report shows that you are impaired at 0.05 BAC, which can change DUI laws.
And see how men are literally walking in women's shoes to address domestic violence.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Jane Kim.
And I'm Carla Rodriguez. Today is Friday, February 9th, 2018.
President Trump signs a budget deal this morning to raise spending to end the brief government shutdown. This is the second government shutdown in 2018. Congress ended the 5-hour shutdown after voting to add $300 billion in federal spending on the military, domestic programs, and disaster relief. Democratic representative from New York, Nita Lowey, argued the case for DACA after it was not included in the bill.
Commit to considering bipartisan legislation to protect teenagers and young adults from deportation is unjustifiable and maddening.
President Trump tweeted this morning saying, "Fortunately, DACA not included in this bill. Negotiations to start now." This bill keeps the government running until March 23rd.
Syrian Kurdish fighters captured 2 British ISIS members. One of these men is believed to have killed UCF alumna and American journalist Stephen Sotloff in 2014. The New York Times says these ISIS members are believed to have recruited many UK nationalists. The men were part of a group of 4 known as the Beatles. An airstrike killed the leader of this group in 2015. The last member is detained in Turkey.
Controversial figure Charlie Kirk is set to speak at UCF this April. Last week, protesters at Colorado State University became violent when the conservative activist came to speak. Nightly News reporter Khalil Maycock spoke to students to feel how they feel about Kirk and the possible protests coming to campus.
This was the protest of Charlie Kirk at Colorado State University before it became violent. The Washington Examiner stated, Kirk supporters carried bats and became aggressive. Christina Del Rosso, president of Turning Point USA at UCF, says, despite the violent protests, Kirk still has the right to speak on UCF's campus.
Whether you agree with him coming to campus or not, he does have the freedom to come to campus. This is a public university, and we are a registered organization, so he has every right to exercise his First Amendment speech.
A right that Dr. Cynthia Schmidt, director for the Center for Law and Policy, says everyone can exercise on campus.
Unpopular ideas have the right to be heard in public spaces, and that the local municipalities or government agencies or universities have to absorb the cost.
Cost, she says, could come from damages potentially caused by violent protest.
In an email I received from UCF PD, the police department ensures that if anything were to get out of hand, they will try and maintain a safe environment through their police training and preparation.
However, UCF PD is unsure of the cost and the number of officers that may be needed. UCF student Valgeri Dorilius says he opposes Kirk coming to campus. He says possible violence is not beneficial.
So I don't think having someone around here that would incite said controversies be beneficial to us.
Kirk will be coming to UCF on April 10th. Reporting from Orlando, Khalil Maycock, UCF Nightly News.
Del Rosso has been in communication with UCF PD regarding the upcoming speech. Nightly News reached out to Kirk for his opinion on the violent protests. He has not yet responded. We will keep you updated on further developments.
President John C. Hitz celebrated his 25 years of service to higher education with Rollins College. Rollins College President Grant Cornwell moderated the tribute in the Knowles Memorial Chapel. President Cornwell highlighted many of Hitz's achievements, including his commitment to diversity. The crowd even got a chance to ask their own questions. Sam Stark, the Chief Marketing and Community Relations Officer, organized the event. He says it's different than any talks with presidents in the past.
I think that it was truly organic, I mean, and very personal and natural. You know, I think a lot of these types of awards and events and, you know, accolades are often very scripted.
Shared his plans for life after UCF and some of his proudest moments as president. As soon as the new president is chosen, Stark says they would like to host them on campus.
A new report released last month from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine addresses lowering the blood alcohol concentration limit, also known as BAC, down to 0.05. Nightly News met with DUI enforcers and found out how exactly this changes things.
My daughter was 20 years old. She was a junior at UCF, and she was just beginning.
Carrie Ann DeMont was killed by a drunk driver in 2015. 3 years later, Carrie Ann's father, Bill DeMont, brings awareness to drunk driving with his foundation and a clear message.
We want to talk to you tomorrow, not talk about you. Because all I get to do right now is talk about my daughter.
By his side is UCF police officer Frank Imparato.
He's been on ride-alongs with me too many times to count. He's seen numerous arrested DUIs.
And more arrests will continue if smarter decisions are not made. Research shows that 2 drinks in the first hour raises your BAC to 0.05.
Even through statistics that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has found is that you are impaired at a 0.05.
DeMont feels like there needs to be more than just a change in numbers.
So I think 0.05 would be a help. I think everything helps, but if we don't do anything about it, it's just another number.
DeMont stresses that the right decision can save more lives than any change in BAC number, and this decision would have saved Carrie Ann's life.
It wasn't perfect, but she was mine. And one decision changes everybody's life.
Reporting from Orlando, Jane Kim, UCF Nightly News. DeMont and Officer Imparato are cracking down on DUI enforcement and saturation patrols around the Central Florida area. They continue to enforce that DUI is a crime and you will face repercussions.
Yesterday, UCF welcomed Ireland's first female president, Mary Robinson. Robinson spoke about climate change, food, water, and poverty. The room was filled to hear President Robertson's speech for the UCF community. As part of UCF's Presidential Distinguished Visitor Series, she challenges UCF to look at what we are doing to help our global climate. As the second largest university in America, President Robinson hopes to empower the UCF community, saying, "You and others like you who will bring change." Events like this seek to help students speak with leaders who are solving society's most important challenges.
A study from the University of Rochester shows alcohol, in moderation, can be helpful to the brain. The new findings show small doses of wine help remove toxins. The research says moderation equal to 2.5 drinks per day. This adds to past research that found wine does have benefits. UCF professor Frank Judge teaches about wine and says there are more benefits than this study shows.
And alcohol actually has an effect on the heart that in moderation is probably good. It's a relaxant in a sense, you know.
He says the relaxant helps in social settings and has positive effects on the heart. His class studies these benefits. Judge makes sure his students are drinking in moderation and spitting out the wine they taste in class.
Men and women of Orlando walked a mile in heels to bring awareness to domestic violence. Strapped in stilettos, men walked down Orange Avenue to raise awareness about domestic abuse. Reporter Brianna Jones has more on the event.
Walk a Mile in Her Shoes is an international event hosted by Harbor House. The purpose of the walk is for men to share in the fight against violence towards women. At the event, men got the opportunity to literally walk in a woman's shoes.
Really, to me, as a man, I need to use my voice as a man to ensure that I can put a stop to this. We need more men raising their hand, raising their voices, and really taking a stand against violence against women.
According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in every 3 women will experience physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Dr. Adumala Aduel, father of 3, explains why he set an example for his kids.
It's very important for them to see and to know that a woman is not an object to be abused, that a woman should stand up and say no, and men should not be laying their hands on women.
Harbor House, the host of the event, is a resource for women who have suffered from domestic abuse. The CEO of Harbor House wants to expand the walk to make it more effective for women.
This year, really, with Me Too and Time's Up happening, we wanted to broaden it and say, you know what, if something's happened to you and you want to walk and share your experience, this is a great event.
The Mile Long Walk began at Orange County Courthouse and ended at Dr. Phillips Plaza. Reporting in Orlando, UCF Knightly News, Brianna Jones.
Harbor House Orlando has resources such as emergency shelters, court injunctions, and their hotline. UCF Victim Services and Harbor House are just a few options available to students who face abuse.
Coming up after the break, find out how Universal Nights is changing its distribution.
Plus, see how medical marijuana is affecting the UCF area.
Last night, SGA announced how
Are we good?
No, it's on the thesis right now.
Guys, we're doing a bump shot when we come back. We're on a 2-minute break. Just act like you're talking to each other. You.
Last night, SGA announced how students will be able to claim Universal Nights tickets. Instead of waiting in line, a link will be sent out to students through email, along with a password to access the link. On March 25th at 4 p.m., follow the link, enter the password, and claim the day you would like to pick up your ticket. 12,000 tickets will be distributed. For more information, visit ucfsga.com under the Events tab.
In 2016, Florida voters passed Amendment 2 with a 70% majority to legalize medical cannabis in the Sunshine State. That being said, it's still illegal to smoke recreational marijuana. Reporter Sophia McCready's shows us how members of the UCF community are joining the growing industry.
Marijuana, simply put, it means freedom to me.
Normal UCF is a club on campus that advocates for marijuana rights. They held a recent club meeting at the Marijuana Doctor. The manager and medical cannabis card holder Jason Beacon says how his evaluation center is helping the Central Florida community.
Really, when you boil this thing down, I mean, this is helping people, every day. We have patients coming in here.
Some of the members from Normal UCF choose their majors to prepare to enter the industry after graduation. Biology student Alicia Lauenstein knows some people have negative opinions about the plant, but she thinks it can help.
I'm still passionate about the subject and about what I want to do, so about helping people.
Currently, there are more than 74,000 registered medical marijuana users in Florida, but they only have access to cannabidiol oil. In Orlando, you can purchase this oil at stores like Trulieve and Knox Cannabis with a medical marijuana card in hand. UCF alum and Trulieve dispensary driver Mike McCanna works delivering medical marijuana to sick people all around Florida. He suggests UCF students should learn about the industry before going into it.
Obviously get information on medical marijuana and also how the industry works, because it's so much more official than people think it is.
Normal UCF is still pushing a ballot initiative to regulate marijuana the same as alcohol. Reporting in Orlando, Sophia McCready's UCF Nightly News.
Normal UCF hopes to get 700,000 signatures on their most recent petition. They have plans of meeting with more marijuana doctors in the near future.
And coming up after the break, UCF researchers are working on an easy way to mine water from the moon.
Plus, Sophia will tell us what the weather is going to look like for the next couple of days.
Two UCF researchers are molding a more efficient way to mine water on the moon. Dr. Julie Brissett and her partner Dr. Philip Metzger received a grant from the United Launch Alliance to create a new mining method. The purpose for this grant is for Brissett to find a way to create fuel in space instead of taking the fuel from Earth. Creating the fuel in space is more cost productive than carrying it on a space shuttle. Dr. Brissett explains the grant scheme effect of the project.
The idea is, if we want really to seriously explore the solar system, we cannot always be launching rockets that carry everything from the ground. It's not economically viable.
Brissett and her partner began coding the project before creating the model. The project has a six-month-long research life. Once the model is complete, Brissett and her partner can begin testing how to make space travel easier. It's been pretty cloudy this week. I hope we can get some good weather this weekend.
Yes, it has been, Jane. Sophia, can you tell us what we can expect for our next few days?
Well, Jane and Carla, looks like it's going to stay pretty cloudy, unfortunately, but we are hitting warmer temperatures as this week progresses. Let's take a look at what our neighbors are seeing across the state. For our highs, in Tallahassee, we have 70 degrees. In Jacksonville, 70 degrees. Tampa, we have 81 degrees. Down in Miami, 80 degrees. And here at home in Orlando, we have a nice warm 80 degrees. And now let's take a look at what our lows will look like. It will be nice and cool this evening, so be sure to grab a light sweater if you're going outdoors. We have a low of 59 degrees in our capital, Jacksonville 44 degrees, Tampa 73, down south in Miami it's 64 degrees, and here at home in Orlando 64 degrees. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Our Saturday is going to start off with a nice warm 83 degrees with a low of 66. There's a 20% chance of rain. On Sunday, we have an 84-degree high and a low of 69. But you might want to grab your umbrellas Sunday and Monday because we have a 40% chance of rain. Monday, the high is 83 degrees with a low of 68 degrees. On Tuesday, we have a high of 82 with a low of 66 degrees with a 30% chance of rain. And on Valentine's Day, we're going to have perfect clear skies. So if you and your significant other plan something, make sure it's outdoors. We have an 81-degree high with a low of 64 degrees. There's a 20% chance of rain. So there's a lot of things you can do on Valentine's Day. But that's all we have for your weather update today. Back to you, Jane and Carla.
Thank you, Sophia. Coming up after the break, see what UCF women's basketball plans to do to beat Temple tomorrow.
Plus, find out how graduation success rates play into recruitment this year for football.
Good afternoon, Knights. I'm Beth Brewster, and here are your sports for the week. UCF women's basketball is ready to take on Temple tomorrow. UCF held UConn to their lowest scoring output at last night's game, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to stop the #1 Huskies winning 55-37. Coach Katie Abrahamson Henderson says the team needs to keep the focus they used against UConn while at Temple.
So we just got to be really focused and hopefully manage their bodies these next 2 days, get them ice bath and get them rest and get them some sleep, and hopefully we can go out on Saturday fresh.
Team leader Zakiya Saunders gathered 13 points alongside KK Wright's 12. Both players had 3 steals and multiple assists, Saunders with 5 and Wright with 3. The Lady Knights will be taking on Temple in Philadelphia on Saturday at 2 p.m. You can view the away game on the American Digital Network. After a tough loss at Cincinnati, UCF men's basketball is ready to compete at Memphis on Sunday. This is the second time the Knights have taken on the Tigers this season. January 7th, UCF defeated Memphis 65-56. The Knights are averaging almost 63 points per game, with nearly 43% of their field goal attempts made. The Knights will take on the Memphis Tigers in Tennessee on Sunday at 4 p.m. You can watch the game on CBS Sports Network. UCF football has the #1 graduation success rate of all players in the NCAA. The Knights football athletes have a 92% graduation success rate. 9 UCF football players graduated in the fall. The team has 6 new recruits for the fall from National Signing Day on Wednesday. Coach Heupel says UCF will help the new players succeed on and off the field.
There's a lot of life to live, and so what we are able to sell on the field, but more importantly academically, what we are doing for our student athletes and the success that they're having is a big selling point for us.
UCF held an early signing period in December for the first time in school history. The early signing period allows students to focus on school in the spring. Last season, UCF athletics set a record GPA of 3.31. The football team went undefeated last year after winning the Peach Bowl. Heupel says he has big shoes to fill with athletics and education. UCF softball kicks off their season today, playing back-to-back games in Longwood. The Knights play Louisville Cardinals at 2:30, followed by the Butler Bulldogs at 5:30. Renee Lewers-Gillespie is in her 17th season as head coach for the team. Gillespie has added 6 new freshmen to the team for both the infield and outfield. The first home game will be next Saturday, the 17th. The opening ceremonies for the 23rd Winter Olympics start tonight at 8 p.m. The games are hosted in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Athletes from 15 sports will compete for medals. Some of the sports include figure skating, skiing, snowboarding, and curling. Team USA siblings Becca and Matt Hamilton kicked off the curling competition by winning the first mixed doubles game in Olympic history. You can view the games on NBC, and the closing ceremonies for the 2018 Winter Olympics take place on February 25th. And that's all the time we have for sports today. Back to you, Carly.
Jane, looks like we have lots of time to prepare for our Valentine's Day, but it's sneaking up on us pretty fast. Do you have any plans?
As of right now, I don't know of anything, but maybe my significant other is planning a surprise. I heard we're having some great weather next week, so maybe something outdoors.
There you go. And if we have any last-minute reservations or gifts to take care of, now is the time to do it, gentlemen.
Yep. That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a great day. That wasn't that bad. It was good.